Hello and welcome back to Sprite Guard Plays HyperRogue. We are on a glorious adventure. We have rescued ourselves a prince, and the world is now open to us, ready for us to explore it and decide what we want to do and how we want to proceed from here. And my thought is that I want to head to the living cave and the minefield, and I want to get us an army. So that is what we are going to do next, and hopefully we can shepherd our friend the prince, and he will help us fight our way through the living caves. We of course have to be very careful about this because there are a lot of ways we can get separated, and a lot of ways that we can get trapped, and so we are going to have to play it safe and really pay attention to what's going on around us. I'm going to try and avoid going into really narrow passageways. I'm going to try and stay out more or less in the open. There's going to be a limit to how much we can do that, how effectively we can do that, because there's going to just be a lot of choke points, and we have to kind of keep proceeding through the game. But there are so many branch points, there are so many different directions for us to go in, that we should actually be able to, as long as we're careful, find our way to all of the gold that we need, even without taking too many risks. And so I'm going to see if we can do that. Like here we have, we've exhausted pretty much everything that's, really obviously in a narrow passage, but we can see, like if we look over this way, there's a great big open passage over this way. And over here, okay, so here's our first couple of rock trolls that we have to deal with. And so I want to be really careful here, and let's get away from the walls and just make our way over this way. And he's going to come back, and so we want to fight him in a nice open space like this. And now we once again want to kind of move away, and our prince has actually dealt with that one. But we do want to kind of pull him over this way, let him know that he should continue coming with us because we really care about him and want to make sure that he survives our journey. And we only need one more piece of gold. I see one that looks like it's going to be pretty easy for us to grab right over here, but we do have a troll coming up. And another one, and that may actually block us off. Let's see. That's going to close up, and it looks like this is actually going to be easier for us to grab. So we're going to grab it. And here's a minefield right here, so we can see if that is something that we can go into. And I don't know how the Prince's AI is going to work with that. I don't know. Let's see. No mines, no mines. Okay. So we're clearing around ourselves pretty well. But I don't know how smart the prince is, and so I'm a little bit worried about whether or not we're going to be able to kind of keep him safe as we go through the minefield. But we can just try and stay, out as much in the open away from mines as possible. And there is our first egg. We only need 10 of them, and so we shouldn't actually run into too much trouble with hostile bomber birds. I have not run into much trouble with them, except when I have gone really deep in trying to get lots and lots of eggs, like when I tried to get 25 eggs to unlock the ability to clear the minefield faster. So let's see, we can clear over this way, and it looks like, okay, so we have some barrier here, but we can open that up. And so far, our prince is still managing to stay on the path. Not sure how much longer we'll be able to keep him doing that, though. So there we go, that is our third egg, and now we're going to head over this way. Maybe we can get up to this one, though it looks like we're going to run into a little bit of a wall. And so I really just want to be very careful, very kind of paying attention to everything and just really not overcommitting. I really just want to, as much as possible, you know, play things so safe, like just not take any risks at all at this point, because we don't need to. You know, the world is very big, and there's a lot of space that we can explore, and so if we are cut off from one direction, we can still go in a lot of other directions and find a lot of bomber bird eggs in new directions, instead of having to try and, you know, take a riskier path to where we are trying to go. So far, our prince is doing a very good job of only walking on uncovered cells. And so I want to commend him for that, and we're going to run into a wall here, so we're just going to go in a different direction. And we're just going to continue to do that. And eventually we will find what we are looking for. And we actually have 11. I was kind of not paying enough attention. And so we are doing pretty well. And now we are looking for an exit. We want to find our way to a crossroads. And of course we want to find our way to some bomber bird or some orbs of friendship is what we're looking for. And so if I see any of those, I will be looking out for them. But we also want to just find our way back to the crossroads and kind of decide what we want to do from there. And we will start building up our army along the way. So we now have 2 guards walking with us, 1 prince and 1 bomber bird. And it looks like we're going to be cut off from going down that way. So we're just going to head over here and not worry about it, you know. Those orbs of friendship were appealing, but we don't need them. We don't need to overcommit to anything. Really, we're going to have so much time and so many opportunities to do things that it's just not worth the consideration. So here, I would like to go into the hive, but I'm a little bit concerned because I don't know how our friendly AIs are going to behave in the hive. And in the hive, really what you need to do is back away from fights. And the friendly AI has generally, historically, not been very good at backing away from fights. And so I'm not really sure that that's going to work, and I kind of don't want to take the risk. For similar reasons, I don't really want to take the risk of going out into the ocean. I know that friendly AI can be kind of not the brightest when it comes to navigating the ocean. So you can sacrifice your friendly bomber birds, and so I want to really avoid doing that. And so I'm going to be very careful about where I'm going. And that's going to be something that's very present in my mind. I'm a little bit, I don't know how the prince behaves around friendly bomber birds. I don't know that he won't sacrifice them if they happen to be where he's trying to go to. I hope that he won't. It seems like he won't. He hasn't so far, but I'm not completely certain, and so I'm a little bit worried and a little bit hesitant. But I'm just going to continue doing things as I normally would, and just hoping that everything works out, because there's only a certain amount of control that we can even have over the friendly AIs. And so, to a certain degree, you know, we have to play as carefully as we can, but then it's kind of out of our hands. And so we have to also be aware that we should not blame ourselves, that we should not, as much as is possible, should not worry about things that are out of our control. Things that we just can't really predict, and can't really take under our power. And now here we have a wall, and I would really like to get to that crossroads, but this is quite a long wall. And so I am not certain that we will be able to make it, but it looks like we are uncovering quite a lot of land, and it looks like we have made it more or less to the other side of this wall. And so it's possible that we can find our way back to this crossroads. And I did see there were some orbs of friendship that we can pick up, but it's getting pretty crowded here. And so I want to open up our pathway to the exit. And it looks like we might actually be having some difficulty there. So we may need to logic it out a little bit. I said that I'm kind of hesitant to do that because of the risk it entails, but here we have, okay, so we know that this one only has one cell next to it, so we know that that's the bomb, so we can clear that one. That's a 3, so we want to back off. We still don't know what this one is, so we're going to back off. We know which one this one is, so we can clear those two. And then we know which one that one is, so we can clear that, and that's a 1 as... What? Oh! Our prince stepped on a mine. Oh no. I was really hoping he wouldn't do that. He seemed like he was doing so well. That's a sad way to lose our prince. So now we have our birds, and we are still on our adventure, and we now have -1 princes. That's too bad. So now the question is, what are we going to do now? And I really can't say. I'm really not sure, because kind of my plan had been to just go on an adventure with our prince and our newfound friends, and now we can't do that. We have our friends still, though. We have that with us, and we can start getting golems as well, but I'm not really sure, should we go on a Yender quest? Should we go for hyperstones? One thing that we can do really easily is we can start going for the last 4 ice diamonds that we need. And then maybe just continue going on, we can start saying, okay, we'll start out on a Yender quest, and then when we actually get to the point, we'll say, do we actually want to go on a Yender quest, or do we want to go on a Hyperstone quest? Because Yender quest can kind of interfere with the Hyperstone quest. They aren't mutually exclusive, but they do, each one makes the other harder. And so I'm not sure that we actually want to do that. Another thing we could do is we could try and rescue another prince. And I'm not sure that, how difficult that would be. I'm not sure if that's even possible. It seems like nothing is unique in this game. And so I would think that probably we could find another prince in another palace. But that's something that I really don't know, and I want to check the time, how we're doing here. And it's about the time that I want to start looking for an orb of safety and trying to wrap things up, and so that is what we are going to do. And then in the next part of this episode, we will kind of regroup and figure out what we want to do. I think that taking some friendly bomber birds with us and seeing if we can bring them along on a prince quest, that could be really interesting. I would really like to see if that's possible, if they will follow us very smartly, and it looks like one of them's going to try and fight, but nope, they all came with us, so here we are, and in the next part of the episode we will figure out what we are going to do, because I really thought we had the adventure laid out in front of us, but this is the longest running HyperRogue episode that we have managed to have so far, and so I'm really excited about that. I am really excited for what's coming up, what we can do in the future, and I really hope that you will join me for that. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.